I'm going to show you how to make a musician portrait and pattern image in Photoshop based on the work of Hattie Stewart. You can see some of her examples on the screen right here. She's a contemporary graphic designer and she works closely with musicians. You can see a lot of color, a lot of pattern, and this sort of signature work of these continuous lines of color kind of growing out and getting larger out from around and surrounding the musician. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So I'm going to pop over to Photoshop, and this is the finished look here. We're going to start off by creating a new file. I'm going to change this to inches and make this 8 inches by 8 inches, 300 resolution. So if we wanted to print it out, we could, and click Create. Now you need to figure out what musician you want to focus on. You can pop over to Google Chrome, did a search for David Bowie. I do want to remind you that because we want a high quality image of David Bowie, if you do a search, you click on Images, and then this Tools pops up and you can click on Size, Large, and that will ensure that you have images, large images of the musician. So find one that has a pretty easily defined like headshot where there's a background that will be easy to get rid of. So I'm just going to a 2-finger click on the trackpad, or a option click, and you can click on Copy Image, go to Photoshop, paste it, and here we have the photograph. I'm going to make it a little bit larger, place it where I want in my, could maybe do them a little off to the side, wherever you want. And now we want to select him and get rid of the background. So I'm going to try the object selection tool, the IA tool, see if it doesn't just sees the whole thing as square. So that's not going to work. Let's try quick selection tool, see if that works better. Remember, bracket keys make this tool larger. So I'm just going to grab everything a little bit here. All right, good enough. So I want the background to be deleted, so I'm going to go up to Select, Inverse to get the background, and then I'm just going to hit the delete on my keyboard. All right, and why is it not? There we go. So now we just have David. Okay, and we have the selection of the background selected. I want to go back to Select, Inverse again, so I have the head selected. Now I'm going to go up to Select, Modify, Expand. Now, depending on the resolution of your image, this number may vary. I'm going to start at 50 pixels. Yours might be 25, something like that. But I'm going to click OK, and you can see it creates a sort of a larger, slightly larger shape around the head. This is very important. Before we fill it with a color, we need to click on the new layer icon. So the color is on its own layer. Now, how are you going to decide about colors? Well, in the presentation that you looked through, remember there is a slide that has a link to all kinds of different colors to find a color scheme. Okay, now we can take a screenshot of that color screen and copy and paste it right onto our Photoshop document, or I'll show you another way. I'm going to click on Adobe Color. I'm going to click on Trends. And you can just sort of look through and find a color palette that you want. You can click on View More. Find something that's going to go with the vibe of your image. Now notice if you hover your mouse, you're going to get a little download as JPEG. And once you download that, I can go back to Photoshop and just go to File, Open, and open up the, I think I selected this one. I'm going to use this one, though it's a little bit more 80s David Bowie, and just click on Open. And so now you have a document here where you can use your eyedropper tool to select your color scheme. And notice the colors then are become the foreground colors that we can fill it with. Okay, so I'm going to go back over to my David Bowie. I have made a new layer, and I'm going to go to, I want to pick the color that I'm going to start with. Let's say I'm going to start with this hot pink. So I've used my eyedropper tool to do that. It's my foreground color. Go back to David Bowie. Now go to Edit, Fill. Now I can just do foreground color, because it's the selected foreground color, and click on that. Now notice, it looks like it covered up the face, but it's just because it's the layer above it. So if I click and drag below the photograph, now I have this. Okay, we're going to do that again. Select, modify, expand. Okay, very important. New layer. Now this little tab thing here will make it very easily. I can actually click on this fill, and I can fill it with anything here. But of course, I forgot to get my new colors. I'm going to go over to my color swatch, get the green I want, come back here. I can just fill it. So now notice the green is my foreground color. I can just go fill, foreground color. Now I have the green. Bring it below the pink. And let's do that again. Select, modify, expand, new layer. Choose my third color. Fill with the foreground color. Bring it down below. Oops. And so on. Now, I could just keep going like this and fill up the entire background. But if you remember, on Hattie's artwork, there's also some kind of cool wavy stuff and kind of different patterns in the background. So please get creative. Another thing that I did, I remember the polygonal lasso tool, which is a great tool to make straight lines. So David Bowie oftentimes has sort of the bolt of lightning associated with him. So I made a little bolt of lightning. I can fill it with whatever color I want, right? Oh, I'm on a mask. Something funny. I forgot to make a new layer. Silly me. It's easy in this tutorial to forget about the new layer. And I can move this over here. I can use my brush tool. Pick a different color if I want. Do some cool designs in the background, and spend some time getting creative here. And remember, this is my finished product. So have fun, get creative. Also, just one more tip. These instructions are actually in the PowerPoint as well. All right. If you prefer written instructions, and there's also some great student examples here. All right. Have fun.